It is 25 degrees out. I am thinking spring. Hey everybody, today we are looking at the Chanel spring collection. Now I know I said in a previous video that I was not going to be buying spring in January. And of course now it's December and I've bought spring, but here's why. This is a pretty expansive collection. There's a lot to this. So what I decided to do was pick up the entire collection and then I'll parse it out into other videos and do comparisons with the single shadows and the liners and Baumes and the face and eye palette, etc., etc. So you're going to see a lot of this. And the reason is because a lot of these products, it's really interesting, have correlations to other products that Chanel has done before, like shades or particular, designs. So we'll get into all of that in future videos. But for today, I'm just gonna do an overview, and I do have the makeup on my face, and we'll talk about what the collection is, what it's supposed to represent, and get into some swatches and that kind of stuff. First of all, I just wanna mention that now it's Mathieu. It's not Matthew, it's Mathieu. Blazy has been announced as the creative director of Chanel, which is really interesting. He has most recently been at Bottega. I love what he's done at Bottega, so it'll be interesting to see how that affects, if it does affect beauty. He'll kind of be in charge of all of it, and then there'll be the beauty director under him, but it'll be interesting to see how his vision affects Chanel going forward. So what we have here is the spring products, using color to create its own aesthetic rules. This is a very springy collection. The shades in here very much remind me of spring. We'll get into the face and eye palette in a second, but the single shadows, the liners, the lip balms, the nail polishes all, call out spring. Many of these shades, as I alluded to before, correspond to other products like the contour kohl liners that came out last year for spring. There's like the greens and the purples, that's a continuation. And Baumes, which we'll talk about in a sec, they're all glossy balms. So they're all very lightly pigmented and work well all year long, but definitely, spring comes to mind. Really quickly, let's do the nail polishes first. The two nail polish shades, and I'll put up a swatch that I did on the Chanel packaging, so it's on the white packaging. There's a minty green and a peachy orange. That's what I would call them. The minty green is Artiste and the peachy orange is Poet. These are the two bottles. And I picked these up. I don't always pick up the Chanel nail polishes because, as you can see, I get my nails done professionally. I get them dipped. So I do a dip. It's a dip polish, basically. And so because of that, I don't often use regular nail polish. However, when I really like the shades that Chanel does, I will pick them up and have, put them on my pedicure, or sometimes I'll even put them over my nails. The reason I picked these two up is this mint green I absolutely just loved. I love that mint green shade. I just think it's really pretty. And the orange, the peachy orange, is actually the shade that corresponds to my husband's company, and a lot of times when I do events, I try to pick those colors so it actually will work really well for future events that I go to, so that's why I picked it up. Let's move to the single shadows. So there are 4 single shadows. There's 1 matte and 4 satins. They are very springy shades. You'll see the swatches. Pêche glacée, a menthe alu, a mauve sucré, and a latte frappe. And the latte frappe is the only matte in this collection, and it is the shade that I first used on my eyes as the contour and blended it out. It is the perfect warm tan latte shade. If you're somebody who's looking for that type of shade, a one and done, it's perfect. It goes on beautifully. The formula is excellent in these single shadows. The same formula that was in the single shadows that were released last year. They're smooth and beautiful. They are more powdery. They're not particularly creamy, I would say, but they're pretty easy to use. And if you're using these as one and done, like I said, one and done shadow, these are a good choice. They are very expensive. It's Chanel. All of it's expensive. The Mauve Sucré is a perfect lilac, and it's satiny, and I have it on the inner corner of my eye. And then I have the Menthe Alu, which is the green, which corresponds to the nail polish, on the outer corner, and I have the Pêche Glacée all over the lid. Hopefully you saw me putting all of that on. This is the final look. I used all of the shades to get this so you could see them as I put them on my eyes. To be honest, I would not use them this way. I would use the latte on all of them because it's a really good warm contour shade, and you could correspond that with any of these. And then I would use the Pêche like as a very simple step, like use the latte and the Pêche as just, you know, two shades that work extremely well together. I would also use it with the Menthe and the Mauve Sucré. Again, I think they all go well together, but to be honest, I would probably use those other satins just by themselves as a one and done, and then use the corresponding liners. They are all beautiful. They all have their place in your collection if you're looking for a single shadow. But in my opinion, the ones that you have to get first, if you're looking to pick anything up, the ones that I think will sell out are the Mauve Sucré and the Menthe Alu. The Mauve Sucré is just such a pretty lilac-y satin shade that I think it will go quickly because it's perfect for spring and it's a color that a lot of people like. And the Menthe Alu is, like I said, it's this beautiful minty green, as you can see, and I just feel like those shades tend to sell out first. Now, the packaging does not say limited edition on the boxes, but I'm gonna guess, since this is the spring collection, that these are not being integrated into the core shades. So again, I don't know. It's too early right now. Again, it's December. I've had these for about a week by the time I'm filming this. I always struggle between the, you know, I want to get it out to you early so you can see it, and using it enough so that I can give you an informed opinion. Because if I film a video when I first get it, it's kind of hard for me to give you any intelligence on the products because I haven't actually used them. So, you know, I've played with this for a couple of days, and I can honestly tell you that the shades are really, really well done. I think they're not going to be for everybody because not everybody likes, you know, a spring palette. But if you're somebody who does and are looking for these types of colors and shades, I think you'll be very happy. That's the green, that's the Menthe, and that's the Sucré. And you can see what I mean, like, see how shiny that is? It's really a beautiful shade. And so is the green. They're both stunning. I don't know if the other shades will sell out as fast, if at all, because the matte is a matte, you know, warm brown. It's a great shade, but you know, I've seen it before or something like it before. I've seen all of these shades before, but again, this is Chanel. And then the Pêche is actually a beautiful shade, and I think is going to be that kind of shade that people use more often than the other ones. But because of that, I don't know if people will like jump to it as quickly, but it's beautiful. It's really, really just a gorgeous shade. It's a perfect peachy pink, and it looks great on the eye. So all of these I would highly recommend. I think they're beautiful. I think the formula is great. They're a little powdery, not as creamy as, you know, you might like if you have like really dry eyelids. But the thing I would tell you is these are very expensive for what you get, and there are, you know, many other products where you can get this type of formula. Chanel is not the only one. I did my, you know, single shadows if you're a single shadow person. But if you're a single shadow person and you like Chanel, the satins, I think, are the way to go. I just think they're really well done. Quite beautiful. On my cheeks, and we'll get into the face and eye in just 1 second. But I do have the new Reformulated Blush. This is in Quintessence, and I'm gonna have an entire video on the new blushes versus the old blushes. The first ingredient here now is the synthetic Fleur Flow Gopite. Fleur Flow Gopite. Say that 5 times fast. Fleur Flow Gopite. That's how I'm pronouncing it. That is the #1 ingredient in here, which is basically a replacement for talc in a lot of products. And that's the thing that was put in the, I just forgot, the Givenchy powder that I think that everybody didn't like. So I don't know. I have to really compare it to the other older blushes, but I will say that this blush is definitely more luminescent than the previous blushes. I wouldn't say it's as good as the old just by using it, but I have to do a lot more testing. This is the blush. You will see me putting it on my face. I will say the blush itself, when you touch it, is creamy, but it's still very powdery, like very powdery. There is a scent, but it's nice, but it's more rose, just rose. The old scent had something else to it. This is just rose. So yeah, the jury's out on that, and I will have a lot more, but I wanted to let you know I have the Quintessence, Pink Explosion, and Rose Bronze, and I will have a dedicated video talking about all the blushes. But you can see it is a little bit more luminescent. It's nice. It's not that it's not nice. It's fine. But I didn't take it out and go, oh yes, this is the formula from before. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see, guys. The liners. Again, there are 4 liners which correspond sort of to the eyeshadows. You can see that in the swatches. There is Vert Lagoon, or Lagoon, Brune Pourpre, Mauve Intense, and Rouge Fauve. Now, I actually took the Rouge Fauve and put it on my lips. And I think it works perfectly as a lip liner. I think it's a great shade as a lip liner. As a eyeliner, it's not a shade I would use. Again, this is my coloring, my taste, but I think it works perfectly as a lip liner. So that's how I'm probably going to use it. The Mauve Intense is a great purple. It's a very matte, deep purple, but I think it's really nice. The Brune Pourpre is, I have on my eyes first, and this is a matte, reddish, purplish brown. This shade, Pourpre Brune Pourpre, also exists in an eyeshadow, a single eyeshadow from Chanel. I'm pretty sure I have that one. It's a purplish brown, so I have to go find it. I'm fairly sure I have it. And see if they're the same. I don't think they're exactly the same, but the names, I think that one is Pourpre Brune and this is Brune Pourpre. So we'll see. We'll see how close it is. And then the Vert Lagoon. This is the one that is going to sell out. I'm going to buy another one of these. I'm just telling you now, I might buy more than another one of these. This shade is stunning. And it's gonna sell out. And how do I know that? Because every single time Chanel has anything that's even reminiscent of a green or a blue, it sells out. So I'm warning you now, don't come at me later and ask where to get these when it sells out. I'm hoping these all show up at, like, you know, Neiman's and Nordstrom's and Saks, etc., Bloomingdale's. You know, I just don't know yet. They will be at Chanel online. I'm guessing, the problem is they said January, but we've gone through this before where they say January and then it shows up, you know, late December. So I just don't know. I don't have an answer for you. It is at boutiques right now. So if you call your SAs at your Chanel boutiques, they can get it. But again, you know, online. It could be January. It could be before that. I will certainly keep an eye on it. I do expect this to be at other retailers as well. But this is the shade. I am just, this is my prognostication that this shade, the Vert, is going to sell out and be gone. It's a metallic green. Again, I'll have a video where I compare it to other, greens that Chanel has done, but it's really beautiful. And this is my favorite formula for eyeliners that Chanel does. All right, lipsticks. These are all Cocoa Baumes. They're all light. You can see by the swatches, they're all shiny. They're Baumes. These are not super pigmented. And the most unique looking one, at least in my opinion, is the lilac. Is Charming Lilac. And I think this is the one that's going to catch a lot of people's attention just because it's purple. But it doesn't look purple on your face. It looks lilac. It looks like a pinky purple. If you're somebody who likes this kind of shade, I think this one will be the one that's the most popular. I mean, who knows, but I think that one will be very popular. There are 6 shades. Honey Bliss, which is a shiny caramel beige. The next shade is 754, which is a tender peach coral. There's 756, which is Cherry Burst, which is like a bright red. At least that's how it comes out. 758, which is a blushing pink, which is a blushing pink. There's 762, which is Raspberry Kiss, which has like a bluish pink. And then there's the lilac. It's Charming Lilac, which is 754, which is like a purpley lilac. It's interesting. It goes from 752, 54, 56, 58, and then 762, and then 64. I don't know what happened to 760. It's not here. But I only saw 6 shades, so I don't know. They skipped 760 for a reason. I don't know what it is. So I like all of these. As you can see by the shades, right? They're good shades. I mean, I'm trying to come up with something that's more clever than they're good shades, but these are shiny lip balms. So, what do you like? I think the one that has the most impact would be either the Cherry Burst or the Raspberry Kiss, because they're just the most pigmented. So I think you're going to see them the most on the lips. 764, which is the lilac, is going to have, like I said, the most, I think it might have the most interest because, it's purple. So it might be people will be interested in getting it, but it doesn't really look purple on the lips. I'll put it over this liner. So we'll take the lilac and I'll put it over this. But again, this is with the eyeliner Rouge Fauve underneath. Will I have a video with all these Cocoa Baumes on my lips? Yes, I will. But again, that'll come later. It'll probably just be a short or something. So last but not least is the oversized multi-use eyeshadow and highlighter palette. This is definitely limited edition because it specifically says limited edition on the box. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about this palette. I don't know who has told Chanel that oversized palettes are the way to go, but they've had several oversized palettes over the last few years, and I'm going to have a video talking about the oversized palettes and comparing them. I don't particularly love this palette. It goes very gold on me. On different undertones, it will look very different. I talk about that kind of stuff all the time. Undertones make a huge difference to how something is going to work on you. But for me, I am probably not going to use this that much because it's very, very warm leaning. Now, that shouldn't be a surprise because, like I said, the only matte shade in the eyeshadows is a warm toffee latte kind of color. So the whole collection is warmer leaning, and then they have these spots of like the purple, the lilac, and then the mauve and the liner, etc. So that's, I guess it's not a shock, but I would have so much preferred this if there were 4 really distinct shades, instead of what we're getting is like a peachy gold, a gold gold, a whitish gold, and a yellow gold. They all, on me anyway, they all go gold. Now the shade that I used on my face, I used this one, you'll see it in a second, first. And then I used this one over it before I put the Quintessence on my cheeks. So as you see that, you can see they both look nice. The formula is actually really good. It does not accentuate texture. If you're looking for a luminescent highlighter that is better for mature skin, this is an excellent choice. I used a dense brush to put them on because I wanted to see what they would actually do. And they are really good formulas. It's just the shades are very similar to one another and are very warm. And that's just not me. So for that purpose, you know, I don't love these. The one thing I will say though, is that I do think these will be great on the eye. So I'm gonna take this shade right here and just put this over this. I think these will be the kind of shades that will look really beautiful, especially on a blue eye, because they are so gold leaning that they will make blue eyes even bluer. Now it's gonna look great on everyone. I'm not saying just because you have blue eyes it'll look good, but I'm just saying these goldish kind of shades make blue eyes look bluer. That's the contrasting shade. So I could see me using these on the eye, absolutely. I probably won't use them as much on the face because I just think the shades are too warm for me in general. The shades that I'm more likely to use are the ones that I used today, which are these two. These have a little bit more peach to them than these two that have a little bit more gold. This shade is, as you can see, it's the far right. Well, when you look at it, you'll see it on my hand. It's closest to my thumb. It has the most gold, yellow gold kind of look to it. And that shade, again, will look great on the eye, but I don't know necessarily that it would look great on my skin. I will show it to you. If I put it over here, you'll see how gold it makes this look. You see the gold, how gold it is? Now again, that's not a bad thing. If you're somebody who likes those very warm, intense gold shades, yellow gold shades, almost like a orange, almost, you're gonna like this. But if you were looking for something that was more like the Dior Backstage palettes where there's like a distinct difference between each shade, you're not gonna get that with this. Last but not least, for this overview video, let me tell you the prices. So the extra large palettes, what it's called on the receipt, is $88. So the price has not gone up. The liners are $35. Single shadows are $40. The lip balms are $45. And the nail polishes are $32. So if you bought the entire collection, which I did, you're paying over $700 for the whole collection, to give you an idea. There is also a duo lipstick that comes in a cute little case, which I did not buy. I restrained myself from picking up the lipstick duo. But this is an incredibly large investment. There's a lot here. So again, I will be doing a lot of comparison videos, but I wanted to give you my thoughts overall on the collection. I am not wowed by it, but I do think it's a good, solid collection. I love the Baumes and I will use them all up because I use Baumes all the time and I think they're very good. The liners, it's the green. The green one was worth right there, the collection for me. The single shadows I think are great. They're the same formula as before, but I really like them. And the green and purple shades I think are standouts. And then, you know, we'll have more time to play around with the extra large palette to let you know what I think. My initial thoughts are it's fine, but too warm. But the formula is really good. So that's what I got for you so far, guys. I want to hear all your questions down below. Let me know what kind of follow-up videos you want, what kind of comparisons you want. There's going to be a lot coming because I spent a tremendous amount on all of this, and we're going to be talking about it for a while. So thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you in another video really soon. Bye.